found ourselves in now in Sligo. It's not a great place to hope that the oil paint is going to dry, but I'm sure that these are dry. But probably shouldn't be leaning on them anyway, but they will endure because he's made every one of them with a process that's straight out of the artist's handbook, dates back 400 years. Linen or canvas, rabbit skin glue or a sizing agent, then oil paint. And he prides himself on process, and process being as much the integrity of the work as the outcome. Every one of these pictures is a really pleasant thing to look at. An artist is kind of, in terms of their own integrity, trying to create beauty. What they're trying to do is make. They're driven by a desire to make. And Aiden is no different in that respect. Conceptually, he engages quite a structure of the inspiration to finish the job and then know when the actual job is finished. But he does field work where he's painting landscapes or environmental images, where he'll mark out his position, see the view, change the position of how he's going to render it onto the surface of the two-dimensional picture plane, and then work from that position on. And it's that continuity then has to be regained every time he goes back to that same position, because obviously the weather sucks. So if he's got an easel up, the canvas needs to be held down with bungee straps or gaffer, because the wind is harrowing there in Eastgate, and 9 times out of 10 it's going to rain. So in fact, this whole area is, we have the highest rainfall in Ireland, don't we? Mayo and Sligo. It's the highest rainfall in Ireland. Come on, admit it. Collectively. But anyway, so there's governance of time spent on the work that are environmental. That is just the landscapes, the interiors, the still lifes. There are governances of body time, how long he's going to spend on the piece. Again, what appears to be the point of view in all of these interiors is a standing position. So then I take it you're probably marking off your position with camera tape. Yeah. And you hit your money. And then pieces of string or points of reference in the actual view that he can turn his head from, but pretty much staying in that same position, which is fixed position painting, map and render type medium or process. This is not Impressionism in the sense that it is not pursuing the magic moment that we all look at an Impressionist painting and say, oh, I've seen a sunset or a sunrise just like that. And takes a lot of drafting, a lot of preparatory drawings and a lot of moments of observation of that object and coming up with an impression for the sake of creating that impression that is gone in a minute, the magic moment. These are not not Impressionism. This is not a subjective imagery taken by camera onto a two-dimensional picture plane, then gridded up and enlarged or scaled down onto another two-dimensional picture plane that you could do anywhere. You could do them on in a workspace, a movable situation. But the point that you are restricted to is via the view from a lens, and a lens changes everything. And most of the things that we're prone to see in life, when we're ever looking at point of sale or Netflix or anything, is through a lens, and there is a great aesthetic that I don't take away from great cinematographers, or it was something that drove Stanley Kubrick to ending up making his own lenses to try and to record light in candlelight. So some of his films, or one particular film. When I first met Aiden, he was at that juncture where he was moving away from lenses and going into perceptual rendering, and he built a camera obscura. And I guess that is, in a way, to be able to look at something in any environment and then render it off the enlargement that is coming through the obscura. And it was what the Dutch masters were doing in the 1700s. It was toyed with in those days, but eventually, look, he's gotten now to perceptual realism. The pictures that you're looking at are actually painted in front of the object, and the painting is the actual piece from start to finish. There might be a few references, mechanical drawings that he does for his sake of actually getting the scale and proportion right. But everything is gone from start to finish on that actual surface with paintbrush and paint. And that is really very rare these days, and to know that integrity exists is really reassuring. They're beautiful pictures, and I tried to pick his brains on a number of occasions as to how he goes about, what's his inspiration, why he chooses that object, paint or whatever, and he returned with Edward Hopper quote, "If you could say it in words, there would be no reason to paint it." Anyway, fantastic exhibition, Aiden, and I congratulate you. Get poised to sell.
Thank you very much. So just to remind you, ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow night is culture night. So whether you like it or not, you have to engage in culture one night a year. Okay? And where better than to do that than here? Okay? So you'll see ads for other things going around the county, but the best thing to do there is ignore them. And if you come here, you might see Aiden's camera obscura in action, or at least demonstrated. At 7 o'clock, Aiden's going to give a demonstration and talk about his technique. At 8 o'clock, Benita is going to give a talk about her work upstairs, maybe with some slides. But before that, just to get you in the mood, you have the two bagpipe bands to come over here at 6:30. Okay? And after that, you'll be ready for anything. And then, upstairs as well, we're going to have a series of short films, Film X, it says here, called Identity, and this is from a writers group who meet at the Museum of Country Life, and they're 9 or 10 people, and they have made little 2-minute films about why they write and what they write and how they write. So that will be upstairs as well. Also, you'll have a chance to make your own prints, just like Benita, in the printing studio here, free of charge, under the direction of Caroline and Grania. Upstairs, you'll also have the opportunity to do some more artwork projects with Breda Burns, directed by Breda. And also, you'll have a chance to meet some of the artists in the studios upstairs and see where they work, if not what type of work they do. I'm not sure. That depends on each individual artist who's around and what they'd like to show you. So after that, then, you can go home. Thank you very much.